you in line at the grocery store or next to you in a restaurant, you still hear them. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a prude. I can swear like a sailor with the best of them. But there are some words that no longer enter into my vocabulary. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, dignitaries, guests, how many of you think you need to clean up your language? Even just a little. Well, my bad words might not be what you were thinking, but they will definitely help in your future. Words have power. What we say seeps into our subconscious. Much like children, our brain believes whatever it hears. So, as Eminem says, words can be great, or they can degrade, or even worse, they can teach hate. You have to be aware of what you say, the words you choose, conscious of your speaking. Conscious speaking is defined as an awareness of our words and their intent. So these words can be a blueprint to your future for either the better or the worse, depending on the words you choose to use. As Toastmasters, you're probably aware that speaking takes practice. Well, conscious speaking is no different. You're going to have to work at breaking old habits. As Yoda says, you must unlearn what you have learned. I'm going to share with you my 3 top bad words in an attempt to help you unlearn what you have learned. Our number 1 bad word for today, try. Nothing drives me more crazy than inviting someone to my house and they say, I'll try to come. Really? You'll try to come? Will you suddenly be struck with paralysis? Or randomly tied down by a stranger? No. You will decide whether or not you want to attend. How many of you are aware of the foibles of try? You've heard something about not using it. Well, those of you who might not be aware, one of the problems with try is that you've already opened yourself up to defeat. You've allowed yourself the option of failure. Subconsciously, you've told yourself, I might not succeed. Therefore, I won't get that mad or disappointed with myself since I didn't really commit. Now, I no longer try anything. Well, that's not exactly true. I tried Indian food the other day. And one day, I plan to try parasailing, but that means sample something new, not put a half-hearted effort into it. Instead, I think we should commit, say we're going to do it. Or, if you're not that enthusiastic, say, I'm working on it. That's a good alternative. Our number 2 bad word for today, classy. We're not even a society that has a class or hierarchy of social rank. I mean, we have the middle class and the working class, but those are generic in our society. This was one of the hardest words for me to unlearn, and it's because I had to recognize how it was inhibiting me. Basically, I was saying that it was something I didn't deserve. Let's take an example. Let's say that Padma is going to go to a classy restaurant tonight. What kind of a restaurant is he going to go to? Burger King? Olive Garden? Maybe something nicer, a steakhouse, or maybe a White House dinner, or tea with the Queen. We don't know. See, subconsciously when we say classy, we're telling ourselves, this is not a situation for which I identify myself. I'm an uncomfortable visitor here. We've told ourselves we don't belong, we don't deserve this. We've limited ourselves. I will say there is never a time that I use classy anymore. I mean, there's a class of people like the middle class, a class of students, classic cars, and classical music. But classy, How about instead we say it's a nice restaurant, or a well-fitting suit, or even a high-end store, not classy. Our number 3 word for this afternoon, yes people, it's a 4-letter word. She might only need a few dollars, where he might need more. It's open to interpretation. I will say that I never use the word rich anymore. Well, I won't say never. I mean, if your name is Rich, I will address it. And if the chocolate's particularly strong, it might be a little too rich for my taste. But other than that, I don't say rich anymore. I declare a number. I don't know what your number is. Think about it. I know you're back there saying, but wait, I'm declaring I'm going to be rich. Certainly that's conscious speaking. No, because it isn't measurable. How do you know when you've achieved it? Is it 1,000, 1,000,000? You can't collect rich. There's no zeros and commas in rich. I looked. They're not there. Instead, I say for me to be rich, I need to sell 1,000,000 books. What do you need to be rich, specifically? These are just a sample of 3 of the bad words that I had to work on eliminating from my vocabulary. What were they again? What was number 1? Try. Yeah. And number 2? Yes. And number 3? Rich. Right. These may not be your words, so I challenge you to find your words. What are you saying that's holding you back from blazing the trail to the blueprint of your future? Are you limiting yourself and saying, I can't do it? Or perhaps you're telling yourself, I'll only put in a little effort by saying, I should. I will say, find these words and help eliminate them from your vocabulary. Conscious speaking takes practice, as I said. For me, I might try a rich piece of dessert, notice no classy, but much like Mommy Dearest, no more bad words ever.